Hello and welcome back. In this session, we're going to look at, first of all, revision on MS SQL databases. Again, the one we used was SQL Express. And you can see here I've opened up a new program, new console application called Connect to DB. And what we want to do here is make a connection to a database, add some data, okay, and then in a table, and then retrieve that data. So let's first connect to a database. So I'm going to go up here to Solutions Explorer and click on Add and New Item. Now you can see here in the new items list is distinct from the class list. We have a local database, again, that's compact data, SQL compact we'll do later on. But we're going to look at a service-based database, which is SQL Express installed on the machine. So I'm going to click on the service-based database, and I'm going to give it a name, and I'll call this database Students. Click Add, and you can see there. Now, I'm not a great fan of wizards, so I'm going to just close down this wizard, and we'll do it directly from the console itself. Okay, now I want to be able to view the Database Explorer. So what I'm going to do, as you can see there, sorry, the students.mdf database is created. I can see there in Solutions Explorer. On the right hand side is students.mdf, but what I want to view is Database Explorer, so I'm going to view other windows and Database Explorer, and I'll just pin that. And you can see there's the database I created called students.mdf. I'll just open that up so you can see, and the view here now will be very similar to, or more or less exactly what you're looking at when you do open up your SQL Manager. So you can see there all of the things we have available. Now again, databases are tables are the heart of every database, and as you can see there, when I click on it, there's no tables available. So I'm going to right click this and add a new table. And you can see there I get a table up. It's an unnamed table, table 2, and it's inviting me to create, to start entering the fields of data, or columns fields. Okay, and you can see here that if I give the column a name, and again, in this case, I'm going to have it as an ID, so I'm going to call it student ID. Okay, and they give the data type for that. Again, the data type will be an int, and again, you can see there allow nulls or not. So I'll call this one student ID. Now the data type will be int, so I pull the menu down and scroll for int. And allow nulls, I'm going to uncheck that because I don't want this to be bypassed. I want this field to have something there. You must put it in. Okay, I'll start off here now, first name. Okay, and this will be an n varchar 50. Now again, we would have worked before and you've seen varchar. What's the difference between a varchar and an n varchar? Well, a varchar will allow an 8-bit Unicode character, whereas an n varchar will allow more. So that will allow us to use characters like a Chinese character or something like that in a name. Okay, again, I don't want to allow nulls here, so a null or an empty value. Again, we'll talk about this in greater detail later on. I'm going to close the video here for a second and enter up the rest. Okay, so there we go. There's a lot of it in. Okay, and you can see here I have last name, city, county, and they're all n varchars. And you can see there the last two, city and county, I've allowed nulls, so therefore we can actually allow an empty value in those fields. Okay, now as with every database, or every table in a database, you should have what's called a primary key. This is revision. Again, you can get away without it, but again, so I'm going to select the student ID. Okay, and again, up on the menu there, you can see the icon of a key. Okay, so I'll click key there, and you can see, just click that, set the primary key, and again, so this is the primary key for that table. Okay, now this is an int, and I want it to auto increment, so if I come down here to column properties, okay, you can see there, it gives the, whatever one I click on, it will give me the properties of that particular column or field of data. Again, I want the student ID, and I'm going to, as I said, with student ID, I want this to auto increment, so I'm going to scroll down I'll show you what I'm looking for now. It's called the identity specification, and you can see there by default it's set to no. Okay, if you double click that just to open it up, and you can see there is identity. Okay, and again, by setting this to yes, you can see there it puts in an identity increment, which is going to be, so it's going to go 1, 2, 3, and this identity seed, so it's going to start at 1. So I'm happy enough with that, so save that out. Now when I hit save, notice here that I now want to name the table. Again, we've called the database students. So what I'm going to call the table is student details. Again, because I'm going to put end up with a fair few tables in my database. I don't want to confuse the database name with any of the tables. And you can see there on the left the way it puts in the student details under the tables. Just close that down now and let's have a look again. If I look at the tables, I can see student details. And again, if I want to enter in some data, all I have to do is right click student details. So I will just bring it back up there. Where it was. If I click the icon there to the side, I can just see the fields I have in it: student ID, first name, last name, city, and county. Okay, so let's look at what I want to do here now is show the table data. Now there's going to be none there. I can open the data definition to let's look at that. Now you can see it's similar to what you'd probably see like an Excel spreadsheet. There's our fields of data, and each row or record we enter. So again, I'm going to put nothing into student ID because that's going to auto increment, but it's going to start at 1 and auto increment by 1 each time. So now I can start entering data in. So we'll start off with Joe Blogs. Now you'll notice there this little red icon there is coming in. Again, this is making sure that it's telling me there that data has not been entered onto the table. Okay, and it won't allow me to pass fields which didn't allow nulls. Okay, I'm just going to hit tab to go on to the next line, and I'll enter up some more data. Just again, what I'll do is I'll just pause the video here and enter up some data, so you're not looking at me entering up tons of data. Okay, so there we go. There's sorry, back here. Okay, just my mistake there. I'm just going to show you adding a new diagram while I'm here. So you can see there a database diagram. It shows me, now we only have one table, so I can just say show details there of the student details. So I'm just going to add that. You can see there it adds a diagram to the background. Now again, this is it's excellent if you want to print off the structure of your database. Again, it shows us all the fields, so it shows the table, and it shows which one is the primary key. It will also allow me, again, if I had more tables there, which one is connected, the primary key to foreign keys and other tables, and etc. So again, it's great to print out as thing. And you'll notice there, it's not far off something you were doing when you were writing your ERD diagram databases or your UML. I'm just going to save this. I'll just call it diagram 1. Come back later on and rename the diagrams. Just close these down now. There's my data. Okay, and what I want to do now, okay, is write a bit of code that will actually display that data, okay, out to the console. So what I need to be able to do is read the data from the database, each field in turn, and write that out. There's 3 things I need to do in relation to that. Okay, one is I have to create a handshake with the SQL server. Okay, make a connection or handshake, as it's called. Okay, just to give myself a bit of acreage here on just in creation of the video, I'll just close down the Database Explorer there. Okay, because we're going to be coding from here on in. Okay, so let's start off. Give myself a bit of space. Okay, now the first thing I need to do is using. Okay, so using, and it's going to be system dot data. Okay, dot SQL client. Okay, terminate the line there. Okay, now let's create a new object. Okay, which is going to be an SQL connection. And I'll give this a name, I'll call it myConnect. Okay, which is going to be set to new SQL connection. Okay, parentheses, terminate the line. Okay, now that I have that done, okay, the parameter of the connection is, okay, just a little bit long-winded, so I'm going to paste it in here to show you what's going on. Okay, so again, if I click in here, I'm just going to paste it in, we'll talk through it here. Okay, you can see we're starting off here with, as you can see, it's a string of data. Okay, and it's the data source equals dot / SQL Express. Now, SQL Express is the default name when you install SQL on your system. Okay, if you call it something else, well then you'll have to name it that. Notice I'm using the 2 // to, one is the escape character, and the other is the actual the root to it. Okay, as you can see there, I then have a semicolon. Okay, so a new line, and that new line is attach DB file name. Okay, and that's equal to the data directory, and you can see there with the data directory I've put it between 2 pipes. Okay, so pipe again /students.mdf, and you can see there, use your escape character again /students.mdf. Okay, terminate that line with a semicolon. And now we have integrated security, which is set to true, semicolon, and user instance, which is also set to true. Okay, and we can close off our inverted commas there. So that's our data source. Okay, that line will more than likely be the same nearly in every one you do, with the exception of the database name. Okay, so I now have myConnect I want to open the connection, so myConnect and the open method. I'm just going to put in just a couple of comments here for this. So this is the handshake with the database, or you're telling this program that's what we're going to use. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to make a request, or sorry about that. Let me shake it out and let me fix this. Okay, this is copying and pasting with too much stuff on the too many windows open here on the machine. So I want to specify a request or command. Okay, so let's start off here. Again, new object. Again, I'm just going to paste this in so you're not looking at me typing. So I have the SQL command, my command. So again, I'm just set to my connect dot the create command method. Let me paste in another line here. Okay, so I have my command dot command text, and you can see there I'm using SQL coding. It's set to select star from student details. So select all from student details. Again, student details being the table. Again, one of the common mistakes here is people putting in select all from the database when they should be in the table or whatever. I'll come back at the end of the video and I'll show you a stored procedure on that one. Okay, I can see here my command, and the command type will be system.data.commandtype.text. Again, we'll get used to these as we're working along with them. Again, if you're in any doubt, just go to the MSDN. Again, you can see here I have the SQL data reader, my data read, and my data read then is set to my command dot execute the reader. So what should be happening at this stage is that the data now is going to be held in my data read. Okay, so my data read, okay, is holding the data, or looking at the data from the student details. Okay, so let's use the data, or run it out to the screen. What we'll do is we'll use a while loop just to cycle down through the data. So I'll add while. Sorry about that, just give me a second here. Okay, so while my, okay, and the condition there, my data read method. Okay, okay, so again, while that is, well, there's something there. Okay, we have a console.write line, and you can see there my data read, and I'm taking in element number 1 and concatenating that into space, and then element number 2. Now we start off at 0, so 0 would have been in my database. 0 would be the column or field called student ID. Number 1 would be first name, and number 2 would be last name. So again, what it should write out, it would be Joe Blogs, and then cycle down to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And then after that, I'm just going to close the connection. I'll talk later on about disconnected and connected. Okay, it is very important. Okay, I also want to put in a console read line here just to keep the console open so you can see that it's actually reading the data from the database. Okay, everything looks okay here. Let's run this. Okay, and you can see there that's what I was expecting to see. Each the first name and last name of everybody in the database table, student details. Again, I could have changed my string there to include student ID and city and county as well. Okay, so let's close this back here. Okay, and let's do one more thing, another thing here. I just want to change something about it. Okay, so let's look at the stored procedure. So the Database Explorer. You can see again stored procedures. So I'm going to right click that and add a new stored procedure. Okay, I'm going to give this a name. We'll call it, just delete out this here, and we'll call this get students. Again, you can call it Donald Duck, whatever you like, get students. Okay, I'm going to delete out this comment of text. And I'm going to pop in here the SQL command we had earlier on, which was select all or select star from students, or student details. So select all from student details. I'm going to close that. Again, give it a name. Again, we've got a store procedure too. And again, if I look over on the left hand side, I can see get students as a stored procedure. Now let's go over the code and let's look at this. So again, I'm going to delete out select from students and replace that with the stored procedure. So get students. Okay, I'm going to come down to the command type here and take out the word text, or .text, and I'm going to put in .stored procedure. Okay, and let's just run that again now and see if everything's okay. And you can see, yes, the data is coming out as we expected, so we're happy enough with that. Okay, in our next video, we'll look at more or less the same exercise, but this time using the compact edition. There are differences, so we look at the differences between the compact versus the edition we're looking at here. Okay. Thank you for your